I'm out here, family. I'm in New Orleans at St. Louis Cemetery, as you see. A lot of history going on, y'all. A lot of history going on. You know, I always like coming into cemeteries, you know, uh, and other places that hold rich history like this. You know, respect to Baron de Cementerio, respect to Maman Brigitte, respect to Gere Limbo, respect to all the Gere. You know, I'm one who does a lot of cemetery work. Um, the graveyard is used for a lot of things, family. You see, when you in the graveyard, and I'm gonna give y'all some game that I usually keep amongst my mentees and stuff. But the graveyard is where things go to die, and that is why the graveyard is so um, is so built to handle the many different types of works that go on in the cemetery. You see, I'll give you an example. If somebody is going through a legal problem, we can bring that legal issue to die in the graveyard. You understand? Um, if somebody is going through a karmic tie to somebody that they don't want to be tied to, we can bury that relationship away in the graveyard. We can bury that karmic tie in the grave. There's so many things that we can do in the graveyard. And that's why there's so much of a vast amount of work. You see, people think that when somebody's working in a grave, that it's automatically a malicious type of work, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. There's a lot of different types of work that happens in the graveyard. There's healing work that even happens in the graveyard, where you bring sickness to an end. You know what I'm saying? The graveyard is where things come to an end, family. So there's a lot of things that can go down in the graveyard. You know, most of the stuff that I do in the graveyard, it's to break curses off of people or to help people with a court situation or things of that nature, you know. Yes, I do left hand things in the grave too, but that's a small piece of what the grave can do. You know, that's a small piece of what the grave can do, family. Also, another great thing about the grave, um, when you're in cemeteries and graveyards, the best protection that you can have is death itself. What better protection to have than death itself, than Iku itself, family? What better protection than Iku itself? Think about that. What we say in Yoruba, Iku, what better protection than to have is death. See, when death is on your side, you have nothing to fear. When death is on your side, you have nothing to fear. You see? Um, and so, in my opinion, the strongest works of protection are done with these type of graveyard type of spirits. You understand? That's my opinion. Other workers might feel differently, but to me, there's no better protection than death. You know, and that's just how I look at it. Um, when you have death on your side, it's easy to bury away curses. Um, illness is the cousin of death. Illness is related to death. So when death is on your side, it helps to divert illness away from you. Look at the black crow. Look at the black crow. Two black crows. Yummy. Yummy. It's just a day in the life of walking with Big Brujo, y'all. Just a day in the life of walking with Big Brujo, man. If you notice, the cemeteries are on the graves are on top of the ground. That stops the grave robbers. You know, that stops the grave robbers. Um, so they cement it. You know what I mean? Now they do that same type of they bury bodies a similar way in Haiti. So if anybody knows anything about New Orleans and Louisiana, then you would understand that there's a strong connection to Haiti from here. And that's because a lot of slaves were brought in from Haiti into New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? And that is what added to the rich voodoo culture that ended up developing. See? So stroll through the graveyard with Big Brujo. You know what I'm saying? So I could drop some gems for the family. The strongest protection that you can have, in my humble opinion, comes from death itself. And that's why I love the grave. And you can say I love the graveyard because I'm a Omo Eshu, but I love the grave. I love the graveyard. I love the cemetery. I love this crossroads in the cemetery. Then some of the best peace that you find it walking the graveyard. To me, when I work in the grave, it's a form of meditation to me because I'm not the type of spiritualist that like sits at home and consciously meditates. So my meditation comes from various types of workings that I do. When I am doing workings in the cemetery, graveyard atmospheres, that is therapeutic to me and that is calming to me. That is my meditation. That is my meditation. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing in the graveyard. I could be breaking something off of somebody or putting something on somebody. Being in the graveyard to me is therapeutic, no matter the type of working. A lot of people can't understand that. Especially at nighttime in the grave, you know. At nighttime in the graveyard, it's very, very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. My favorite times to be in a cemetery is, you know, one to two in the morning. 1 to 2 in the morning. 3 in the morning, push it. And then the other favorite time to be in the cemetery for me is right at dusk. Right at dusk when the sun is about to go down, when the sun is about to set. That twilight, that's another favorite time for me. Actually, that's probably my favorite time to be in the cemetery is that twilight hour. You know what I'm saying? That twilight hour, that's my favorite time. But close behind it is when I'm in there 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Because those are very peaceful hours. And the reason I lean more to 1 and 2 o'clock is because when 3 o'clock come around, certain you got to start wrapping up certain things. You know what I mean? So when I get in there at 1 and 2, I can peacefully get done the things that I came to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my experience. That's just me. But yeah, that twilight, man, it's something about that twilight. I love it. I love it when you just catch it just before the sunset. It's the greatest thing, man. I love it. Just before you catch the sunset. I love this. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know when I fell in love with the graveyard, but I did. And it's funny because my son is like that. He loves the graveyard. Loves it. You know, he'll frolic around, play in the graveyard, and to get it kind of look after him, you know. But yeah, I love the graveyard, y'all. People say it's because I'm Omo Shoe. I don't really know why. I just know I love it. Straight up, you know. Yeah, I'm out here in New Orleans, man. I'm on my spiritual pilgrimage, family. Like I said, you gotta visit the spiritual meccas within the Black America as well, because all ancestors matter, y'all. All of them. All ancestors matter. And so it's important to pay homage to those who were in the Americas, you know, straight up. It looks like a bird nest is up there. See it? Yeah, me, I love the graveyard. And it's, to me, the graveyard is very romantic, you know? It's a very romantic place to take a woman. And I know some women listening might think I'm crazy. Like, Brujo is crazy. What does he mean? But no, to me, the graveyard is a romantic place to take a woman on a date, you know, get to know her. You guys can have conversations while you walk the graveyard, hold hands, and get to know each other. It's a very intimate place to me, you know. So it's like, look, if a woman ain't down uh, to walk the graveyard with me and have a conversation at dusk, and she ain't the one. You know what I mean? She ain't the one, y'all. She can't do that. Something going on. It ain't fitting. You know what I mean? But I love the graveyard. I love the graveyard. And eventually we all end up there one day. Go figure, right? But it's just such a peaceful place, family. Such a peaceful place. So yeah, man, you know, Big Brujo, man, on the spiritual pilgrimage. I had to set it off with our own lineages and stuff, you know? Grave sites. It's the best. Fellas, start taking the queens on romantic strolls to the graveyard, brothers. Change the game. Change the game up. Start taking the goddesses on strolls through the graveyard, man. Change the game. You know what I'm saying? Change the game up. I'm telling you, man. You take her through the graveyard. No, ain't nobody did that. Ain't nobody did that with her before. Ain't nobody did that with her before, gang. Trust me. Yeah, do that. Do that. Thank me later. You know what I'm saying? Thank me later. You heard? Thank me later, man. Yeah, so with that said, y'all, I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Or double.